Hello, and welcome to Coffee and Wisdom, when we explore some theological and philosophical ideas from the standpoint of humanism. Last several days, we've been looking at antinomianism. This was an idea that springs up with the Reformation, with the Protestant Revolution, and then Protestants began to call each other this. And what is it? Well, it's the idea that you're breaking the law or you don't believe in the law. Well, I don't have to, because I have God's love, and my entire spirit and soul is imbued with love, and therefore I can't do any wrong. Oh, yes, you can. And you can see how this could be both a religious heresy, but also a problem for law and order, when we have Christians who think that all the laws are so much dirt. Why bother? Because we know what's right. We don't need to listen to the civil authorities. So, antinomianism against law. And I've been looking at the British Civil War, 1642 to 1648, and then its aftermath, because this was a time when the Puritans are gaining power, but they are splintering into subgroups with various kinds of theological emendations onto what they actually believe. And so they're going to go from this to this to this theology, often getting to a extremely antinomian bit. Last time I mentioned the ranters, the free love people, who were one of the more famously problematic for their time. Well, an offshoot of the ranters was the Mogultonians. Mogultonians. Now, this is named for a gentleman by the name of Lodovick Muggleton, who lived from 1609 to 1698. And actually, the movement survived until 1979. And some people think it still has secret cells today. You'll have to be the judge of that. Well, what did they believe? Number one, they were anti-Quaker. The Quakers were also a group that's growing out of the the revolutionary ideas, and they're going to be anti-Quaker. And the Quakers are circumspect and quiet. Well, we Muggletonians are going to be loud and proud. So the Muggletonians also believed in one God, but this God was 5 feet tall. Heaven was not far away, and the sun and moon were the size they actually appear to us. So, because they're not all that far away from us. Now, where did this come from? Well, God appeared to a London tailor by the name of John Reeve. When Reeve died, Muggle became the prophet of the group, so they became Muggletonians. And they believed that whoever they cursed would die, and whoever they blessed, whoop, straight to heaven with them. Well, so the ideas that they develop are very interesting, because they think they have this prophet with them who can then tell them directly the theological ideas. So, number one, there is no God but the glorified man, Christ Jesus, who, remember, is 5 feet tall. Two, there is no devil but the unclean reason of men. The only devil is in your mind. Now, notice that this Mogultonian idea is going to actually enter into liberal Christianity in the 19th and 20th centuries, and is very much a part of basic mainline Christianity today. Number three, heaven is an infinite abode of light above and beyond the stars, because again, the sun and moon are very close to us, so it's not all that far up there. Four, the place of hell will be this earth when sun, moon, and stars are extinguished. It's going to be total blackness at that point. Number five, angels are the only beings of pure reason, and that's what they are, is pure reason. So they are very much a product of the human brain. And then six, the soul dies with the body and will be raised with it. This has been also another heresy among Christians. When do people's souls go to heaven or hell, or how do they do that? The Muggletonians had an answer from their prophet. The soul dies with the body and then is raised with the body, the actual physical body, at the time of the resurrection. Now, wait a minute, you say that this sounds just too off the wall. Well, one of the more interesting things about Mogultonianism is that it caught on among the tradespeople of London. Again, here we have a tailor who is a prophet. Then the successor, Muggle, is a tailor and is a prophet. And so we have the small business people of London who are very into this kind of thing. Now, they weren't, of course, trained as were the priests in the Anglican tradition. They weren't studied at Cambridge or Oxford. They were pretty common people who had fairly traditional educations, and they were seeing this and explaining it to people who would listen. And that really caught on for quite some time. As a matter of fact, one of the more interesting things about it is that it did affect the belief systems of William Blake. So we have a book, for example, if you're very into this sort of thing, Witness Against the Beast, William Blake and the Moral Law by E.P. Thompson. You may recognize the name E.P. Thompson as someone who writes quite a bit about the British working class. So a book about how the belief system of William Blake was strongly affected by Mogultonian ideas. Well, one of the great mysteries is, did the Mogultonians curse Sir Walter Scott so that he died? A lot of people believe, certainly the Mogultonians do, that yes, indeed, they cursed Sir Walter Scott, and that led to his death. And as I mentioned earlier, the question of, are there still Mogultonians today? Did they, in 1979, did they disappear with the death of the last open Mogultonian, or did they go underground? And if you're a conspiracy theorist, wow, there's lots of places you can go with that. Well, we've been looking a little bit the last few days with legalism and antinomianism. If you believe that the spirit of the law is much more important than the letter of the law, then you too may be an antinomian. Although, as we've seen, you can go way out with some of these antinomian ideas. So you'll have to explore antinomianism and look at your own inner works and say, legalism, spirit of the law, how antinomian am I? That's Coffee and Wisdom for this week. We will be taking a Thanksgiving week break. Thanks so much for joining me. And we will be live Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time on Zoom. If you would like to join me and want the Zoom link, please email me, minister@firstunitarian.org. Thanks a lot for listening, and go be an antinomian if that's what you want.